speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
All I need is one mic.
With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. Dateline Friday, November 7, 2025. Dear Mr. Pizarro, I hope that this letter finds you well. As you know, last evening, KBLA Talk 1580 hosted an Altadena town hall entitled Understanding the Wildfire Recovery Compensation Fund. The venue was at capacity, and as KBLA has maintained all along, no plaintiff's counsel was involved in any aspect of the program, such that Southern California Edison could well have participated per its initial commitment in writing on October 7, 2025. That said, in both private communications and public pronouncements, we note that SCE has offered to appear on KBLA Talk 1580 to address the Altadena community regarding its fast pay program, which was discussed in depth at last night's gathering. We would like to accept SCE's offer and invite you, Mr. Pizarro, to appear on KBLA's nationally syndicated radio program, Tavis Smiley. The show broadcasts weekdays from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and we are happy for you to choose any day, any hour for a live in-studio conversation. Please let us know which day and time work best for you. We look forward to welcoming you to our studios in Leimert Park. Sincerely, Tavis Smiley, founder, Smiley Audio Media, Inc., Chief Visionary Officer, KBLA Talk 1580, host, Tavis Smiley. With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. As always, we welcome your feedback.
I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. Welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580. I want to follow up on Tavis Smiley's editorial just before the beginning of our program. Southern California Edison, Pedro Pizarro. We extended an invitation to President and CEO of Southern California Edison to meet with constituents, to meet with people profoundly affected by the Altadena fire and crisis. Pedro.Pizarro, Pedro.Pizarro at SCE.com. We'd like Mr. Pizarro to call Tavis Smiley. We're going to call him at 626-302-2255. Press number 1, 626-302-2255. We are not going to be disrespected by the Southern California Edison, and we're asking the president and CEO to reach out to Tavis Smiley as soon as possible. Happy Veterans Day, everybody. And I'm particularly honored on this day to have a woman of honor. Colonel Lillian Anita Dixon is a decorated U.S. Army veteran whose distinguished 30-year career reflects a lifelong commitment to service, leadership, and excellence. A native of Hampton, Virginia, Colonel Dixon was a 4-year ROTC and basketball scholarship recipient at Hampton University, where she earned a Bachelor of Arts in Political Science in 1985 and was commissioned as a second lieutenant in the Adjutant General's Corps. She later earned a Master's of Business Administration from Averett University and a Master of National Resource Strategy from the Dwight D. Eisenhower School of National Security and Resource Strategy. Colonel Dixon began her military service at the Presidio, San Francisco, where she served in the Military Personnel Division and was selected to the Women's All-Army and Armed Services basketball teams. A graduate of Airborne School, she proudly earned her paratrooper wings early in her career. Her leadership assignments include command of the Pentagon Operations Company and later Headquarters Company, U.S. Army Element at the Supreme Headquarters Allied Powers Europe, JAPE, in Belgium, where she also served as Secretary to the General Staff and Deputy Chief of Staff for Operations. Colonel, welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show.
Thank you so much, Jesse, for having me today, and thank you for what you do each and every day, bringing attention to some very interesting and valuable topics. So thank you for having me.
Colonel, it is indeed an honor to have a woman of honor on this Veterans Day on our radio show here at KBLA and in Los Angeles, California. And we certainly want to thank you for your service. I would certainly appreciate in this 2 minutes that we have, 2.5, 3 minutes that we have before the break, your thoughts generally on the role that African-American women have played in service to our nation in the armed services and that capacity. I think a moment of reflection on the importance of our service does matter.
Well, for me, I've been in the Army for 30 years, and I remember when I got to 20 years, I got a phone call from my mom, and she said, when's your retirement date? And I said, I'm having a good time right now, so I'm going to hang in here. And then 10 years later, I retired at 30 years, but I feel like I've been in the Army all of my life, or been associated, because my dad was in the Army. And then, I came in, and then I served as a civilian aide to the Secretary of the Army for 5 years. And now I'm working for the mayor in DC. But for me, the role for women in the military, the journey has always been about earning respect, the old-fashioned way for me, through performance, accountability, and consistency. And I feel like, just like any other gender in the military, credibility is built by showing up, doing your job well, taking responsibility, and leading with integrity. And that's what earns trust from your peers, subordinates, and senior leaders alike. So to me, it's an even playing field. I felt like during my career, I had to do things sometimes better. I felt I had to be better, but to stay competitive, because there were some talks of the good old boy. And if you're not in the good old boy, then you have to prove yourself as a woman. It was difficult sometimes, but I wouldn't change what I did for the last 30 years for anything else.
Colonel, we're so very proud of you. When I think about the Hollywood depiction of African-American women and the contribution that they've made in the armed services, when I think about even Tyler Perry's most recent movie, acknowledging the role that women played even in dealing with mail, and the honor, the integrity, the respect that they had to earn and that they brought to it. My dad often refers to the dynamic of being a person of color, being Black more specifically, is that we have to be superior just to be equal. And that's what I just heard from you. That to be the best, you've had to exceed all expectations of anyone else in your respective field in order to earn the respect in service to your nation. We are more the better as a nation as a result of your service, and we look forward to engaging in an even deeper conversation on the climate we find ourselves in as African Americans. And so much of that climate, I might add, Colonel, has been fighting for a nation that oftentimes wasn't fighting for us. I'm Jesse Jackson Jr., listening to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580. More with Colonel L. Anita Dixon when we come forward.
While you're stuck in traffic, we can at least bring you up to speed on the news of the day. You're listening to Jesse Jackson Jr. only on KBLA Talk 1580.
This holiday season, Target has your back with irresistibly cool gifts for everyone on your list. For the trendsetter, start with affordable beauty kits and gift sets. Need something the whole fam will love? Grab snuggly matching fits in every size and style. And for the thrill seekers, don't forget the hottest toys and tech of the season. Target's got you covered with the best deals for endless fun. Shop in store or online. And step into the holidays with Target. Restrictions apply.
At Charmin, we heard you shouldn't talk about going to the bathroom in public, so we decided to sing about it.
Light a candle, pour some wine. Grab a roll, the soft kind for a little me time. Charmin Ultra Soft Smooth Tear. Wavy edges for my rear. So let the softness caress your soul. Just relax, you're on a roll. Let her rip. Charmin Ultra Soft Smooth Tear.
Charmin Ultra Soft Smooth Tear has the same softness you love, now with wavy edges that tear better than the leading one-ply brand. Enjoy the go with Charmin.
Hey, KBLA 1580 delegation, your health matters to us. We know that information is power, especially when it comes to prevention and treatment. That's why we're proud to introduce the brand new KBLA Health and Wellness Hub. This online space is built just for you, connecting our community to trusted health resources, culturally relevant care, and even access to diverse clinical trials and emerging therapies. Whether you're looking for information on common conditions, mental health support, or just want to stay on top of your wellness journey, we got you. And the best part, it's all on our website at KBLA1580.com. Accessible, empowering, community focused. So just go to KBLA1580.com and click on the Health and Wellness Hub icon, because knowledge is power and your health is everything. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
Now back to more of Jesse Jackson Jr. on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. Welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580. Colonel Lillian Anita Dixon, a combat veteran. Colonel Dixon deployed to Baghdad, where she served as Chief of Staff for the Iraq Training and Advisory Mission, Ministry of Defense, and Senior Personnel Advisory to the Iraqi Deputy Chief of Staff. For her service, she was awarded the Bronze Star Medal. Upon returning from Iraq, she served as Principal Deputy in the Human Resources Policy Directorate, Army G1, overseeing 18 Army policies and 10 major programs supporting readiness and resilience, including sexual harassment, assault response and prevention, suicide prevention, diversity and equal opportunity, and substance abuse programs. Colonel, your resume is so extensive. Every break, I'm going to just read some of it because I think our listeners need to understand a woman of honor, an African-American woman of honor of extreme qualifications and capabilities, and has spent the majority of her career and life in service to our nation. Colonel, welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show.
Thank you so much, Jesse.
Colonel, when I think back about, the history of African Americans and the fact that we fought in every major conflict, the Revolutionary War, the War for Independence, the war, if you will, between the states. Eventually, in Massachusetts 54th, and the colored men were allowed to don the uniform, which Frederick Douglass made the argument, obviously, to Abraham Lincoln. When I think about our brothers and sisters fighting in Europe in both World War I and World War II, and those valiant soldiers who, after World War II, came back home as African Americans and found themselves still second-class citizens, still having to prove themselves, having left limbs, having died for our nation abroad. And every major conflict, from Korea to Vietnam to the Gulf War to the War on Terror, we've been there. And Martin Luther King Jr. often references the fact that we've been there. Malcolm X often references the fact that we were there. The American soldier, the African American soldier, finds themselves consistently in this precarious position of always having to prove themselves. And you talked about that just moments ago. That journey isn't something that you share alone. It's shared by tens of thousands of people, certainly in the military, but certainly women in the military. How do you overcome that? Is there a huddle? Is there a huddle that Black women in the military would have to say, we got to work a little harder?
Yeah.
Colonel.
Yeah. So, I wouldn't call it a huddle, but I would definitely call it a support network. And, it's not like we get in the little room and have powwows. It's the fact of being aware. And as a leader in the military, you have to be very aware of your surroundings and your people. We get trained. I always said when I was in command that I was a social worker. I was a mother for soldiers. I was a teacher for soldiers. And when you become an officer in the military, for which I did for 30 years, you learn to recognize, signs and symptoms of people who are struggling, and that's just not in the military. That's outside of the military too, as you well know. So I think that we do one-on-one mentoring sessions. We serve as we give guidance. We share our personal experiences. And I think in doing that and staying connected with people, especially those that are in, your chain of command, or even those who are not. But I think staying connected and finding your mentor, which has been very effective for me and some of my subordinates as well.
I'm being told by my producer that we have a clip that we'd like to play at this moment.
Okay.
This honor flight is to honor all the veterans of World War II, Korea, and Vietnam. It's all free for them. We show them all their monuments and explain what their monuments are about. We just try to treat them with dignity that some of them didn't get when they came home from the war.
Hello, everybody.
What?
As we approach Veterans Day, I wanted to stop by and just say thank you for your extraordinary service. To you, your family, the sacrifices that all of you made to protect our country is something that will always be honored. And we are very grateful, and we also happen to welcome you with a 70-degree day in D.C., which doesn't always happen around here.
That's the first time I've seen a president, former or current, greet an honor flight, and that is absolutely amazing. A commander-in-chief, a leader who's going to show up and tell you that your service was worth something. I think that's the important part, so I think it was a great thing that happened.
Last
time I got to see a president, it was Gerald Ford.
How about that? So nice.
It was a joy in my heart today to see all these people. It's good. We still got people in our country, and that's good.
I had tears in my eyes. I just couldn't believe that there was that many people around that remembered us and was there to greet us, and it was just unbelievable.
Well, it means a lot because back then you got off the plane there and you had no welcome and people were almost booing you.
I'm real happy that now with current troops that come back from deployments, they get welcomed back really nice because that's what should happen. So it's being recreated in this flight and that makes you feel good.
I haven't flown for 50 years. I was in the military from 72 to 76. Our country puts these things up, these memorials, honoring the men and women that served. You couldn't ask for something greater.
This has been going on over 20 years, and it started out very small, and now a lot of states have their own hubs, and they raise their own money and they set up the whole flights. They set up where they're going to go, the buses, the flights. Flight like today from Madison, Wisconsin will come in the morning and leave in the afternoon, and we'll get them around to every monument we can within reasonable time. Every city in this country has got veterans in it, I guarantee it. Go up and say thank you, and just tell them how much you appreciate them.
The former president of the United States this morning greeted an aircraft that came into Washington National Airport. And to the passengers' surprise who came to Washington to commemorate Veterans Day, to celebrate certain victories and to commemorate their long-lost buddies from conflicts that have dawned since the inception of the nation, there to greet their plane when the door opened, grabbing the mic of the flight attendants, was President Barack Obama. The soldiers, the veterans on that particular plane were just overwhelmed by the idea that their commander-in-chief, their former commander-in-chief, would take the time out of his schedule to thank them for their service. He stood outside of the aircraft and greeted every single deplaning passenger, thanking them for their service. And it was just one of those touching moments that exists in the life of our country and in the life of our spirits. Grateful to President Obama and those men and women who more than sacrificed their country loved. Our very special guest in this particular hour is Colonel Lillian Anita Dixon, retired, decorated U.S. Army veteran whose distinguished 30-year career reflects a lifelong commitment to service, leadership, and excellence. Colonel, once again, thank you for your service.
Thank you for having me.
Colonel, these are difficult times. Now, we have about 8 minutes where, it's hard to imagine a president of the United States actually greeting an aircraft, um, um, a president who wanted, and I'm very careful because of, I don't want you to ever be in a predicament because of me, demanded for the first time ever a military parade, which was kind of unusual. But I think we know the personality that we're looking at. How important is it from your perspective that the men and women who serve our country have respect for the commander in chief?
Well, I would say that again, that they have respect.
Yeah, how important is it that while you're in the field, while you're sacrificing your life, while you're following orders, that the orders that are coming from the commander in chief are the kinds of orders and a man that you or a woman that you believe in?
Well, we raise our right hand and we take an oath. And so we do say we obey the orders of the president as well as the officers appointed over us. So I think each and every one of us, the million plus military in the Army is particularly, and I'm sure the other services as well, they take that oath very seriously. And just looking at that honor flight, the faces of those retirees, it really warms your heart to see that a president would come take the time to acknowledge them. And that was a wonderful thing. And I've seen those honor flights come through the DCA and how we still honor them because we know all our World War I veterans have passed. And now our World War II veterans are getting up there in age as well. And so, you want to honor those who have served in those conflicts and, know the sacrifices and honor the sacrifices they've made for their country. And I would hope that, any president that we have will definitely acknowledge that. And I would love to see more of that. I think that's wonderful. I know they go to Walter Reed and visit some of the troops that are there that have been injured, and and we take care of the family members as well. So I just think we honor him, and we honor them, and we respect them, and that's just a part of the business of being in the military.
Colonel, when I was a member of Congress, I would put my hand on the Bible and obviously swear to uphold the Constitution. And the 8 or 9 times that I was privileged to do that, I literally felt strength in my spine. I stood straight up. I stood erect. I took the oath and the obligation very seriously.
Absolutely.
And I would encourage others who are fortunate enough or blessed enough to uphold the Constitution of the United States to do the same. I can share with you that that so many tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands, if not millions of us who are African Americans have placed our hand on the Bible, swore to uphold the Constitution in various forms of service. And they too developed a strength in their spine, whether they worked for the Secretary of State or the Department of Education or Health and Human Services, or even abroad on the ambassadorial and embassy corps. And yet throughout history, this unique patriotism of the African American that fights for their rights on the one hand, but defends the right of others to have rights on the other is deep. Dr. King insisted, I share this with all of my brothers and sisters, even millennials and Gen Zs and Gen Xs and everybody who doesn't understand. He insisted that the American flag be present at our protests. We insisted that we are upholding the highest ideals of the nation, even when we have disagreement. Colonel?
Yeah. I take great pride in Old Glory, and I understand why he wanted that flag to be at every event. When that flag is in the air, it just means so much pride for a soldier to see that. And I just think the flag has been through so much. Like you said, it's been through every war, And it just has symbolism to it that really is important to, pride and dignity and respect for our nation. And so I get it. I get why Dr. King did that. And I think every soldier that serves understands that respect as well.
And as a historian, I'm reminded that, yes, I see the red, white, and blue, and I see the stars, but I also see the process by which, one free state and one slave state was added to the Union to keep the country from falling apart itself.
Absolutely.
And that's how we kept the balance between North and South, leading up to the California Act, how states were added to the Union. I see, even from this perch, I see 2 United States senators, in fact, 4 United States senators in the U.S. Senate to this day as part of that compromise at the foundation of our nation, as we added more stars to the flag that Betsy Ross would not have been able to conceive. And so when we look at the flag, I mean, it's the difference between a 10-year-old child singing the Star Spangled Banner and Ray Charles. Ray Charles singing it, because that flag means something to who we are. What is CASA and what does CASA do? My producer's insisting that I press that one.
Well, let me tell you. So it stands for Civilian Aid to the Secretary of the Army, and the program had been around for 102 years. The program was ended under this administration, and I'll tell you, we were 102 strong, or actually 108 strong. We could go up to 125, and we are some veterans and just U.S. citizens who care deeply about the Army, its service members and their families and veterans. And at the peak, like I said, we'd have 125 of us, and we were all volunteers, and we would serve our community and serve the Army and make sure that the Army and our communities had great relationships. It was, vital volunteer network that worked to support the Army, serving as a bridge between military leadership and local communities. We provided 4-year scholarships to high school students each year, and we helped to invest in the next generations of leaders in the military. We also supported transitioning military personnel as they navigated life after service, because that's really tough when you served and you get out and you feel like what's next, because you're so used to serving in the military for so long. And we played a vital role in assisting recruiters and attracting, the best and brightest citizens to join the Army. But this program was terminated for whatever reason. I don't know.
Colonel,
but I'm sorry.
We'll discuss it as soon as we come forward
Okay.
on KBLA Talk 1580. I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. You're listening to Colonel Dixon. More when we come forward on KBLA.
The biggest names, the best conversations. Your ride with Jesse Jackson Jr. on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. Chicago aldermen are urging Black Mayor Brandon Johnson to dig deeper into a consultant report to help fix the city's billion-dollar deficit.
We've already demonstrated that we're willing to implement the very ideas that came from this report.
Johnson defended his plan to tax big corporations, saying they too should pay their fair share. Los Angeles' Black Mayor Karen Bass says the city's House Our Vets initiative has placed over 360 veterans in permanent housing with a 99% retention rate. She adds homelessness in LA is down 17% since she took office, marking the first back-to-back yearly decline. And former President Barack Obama made a surprise Veterans Day appearance, greeting service members arriving in D.C. through the Honor Flight Network. He thanked them for their service and handed out presidential challenge coins to veterans from World War II, Korea, and Vietnam. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Hard rock style is coming to the Central Valley, just 15 miles south of Bakersfield off Route 99. You'll find world-class gaming and entertainment. Less drive time equals more playtime. The all-new Hard Rock Casino Tejon, opening November 13th.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Dallas Mavericks owner Patrick Dumont needs to be put on blast. Tuesday morning, Dumont fired Mavs general manager Nico Harrison, one of 12 black GMs in the NBA. Dumont fired Harrison because the trade Harrison made last season with the Lakers, Anthony Davis for Luka Doncic, has been a disaster for the Mavericks. The Mavs are 3-8 and Davis is hurt again. Meanwhile, the Lakers are 8-3 and Luka is balling, averaging 37.1 points. Yes, Harrison did reach out to Lakers GM Rob Pelinka to discuss the trade, but Dumont signed off on the deal before it was finalized. No trades in any sport are made without ownership approval. The real crime committed by Dumont is that he let Harrison take all the abuse and death threats from angry Mavs fans upset about losing Luka. Dumont never talked to the media to let the fans know that it was his decision to trade Luka. Harrison now knows what kind of person he was working for. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Hi, I'm Zoe Williams, a.k.a. the Voice of Reason, encouraging you to join me weekdays from 7 to 9 p.m. for the world's most intriguing relationship radio roundtable. Every night, I facilitate and encourage our loyal listeners to participate in the most engaging relationship discussions you'll hear anywhere. So make it a point to rendezvous with me, Zoe Williams, the Voice of Reason, Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Trust me, your relationships will never be the same. The VOR is on fire tonight.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
We asked seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up. Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number to put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone. And should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement.
Check your statement every month. If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your Senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080.
KBLA Talk 1580, standing with you in perilous times. If you've been impacted by the federal government shutdown or the discontinuation of SNAP benefits, you can find a food bank near you that's offering free groceries by going to lafoodbank.org or call 211. Additionally, LA County offers free meals at certain parks. There are meals and snacks for kids and seniors. Visit parks.lacounty.gov to find out which centers are offering which programs and to register in advance. And in addition to offering 2 free meals per day for all students, the LA Unified School District provides weekend meal kits for its students by request. Meal kits can be picked up on Fridays at grab-and-go locations. Please visit lausd.org/Cafe LA. That's lausd.org/CAFELA. We keep us safe. We keep us provided for. We keep us connected. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
You're listening to Jesse Jackson Jr. on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. Welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. It's Veterans Day all across the United States, where we honor the men and women who've sacrificed the highest level of their devotion in defense and to protect the nation. I'm very honored in this particular hour that Colonel Dixon has been our very special guest and will continue to be until the top of the hour. I'm so grateful that she's here. Colonel, thank you for your service to our nation.
Thank you so much, Jesse, for that acknowledgement. I appreciate that.
Yes, ma'am. Colonel, let me ask a question. There is this sense after, how shall I say it? I know you're a civilian now. There is this sense that the military and its long fought for policies that were inclusive and broader, and the outreach to women and to people of color was taken seriously by previous administrations. There just seems, from CQ Brown all the way down to removing historical events from public displays at Arlington National Cemetery and in places of honor where our contribution has been made to the nation. There is this sense that the armed services under the present leadership is heading in the opposite direction of recognizing the values of sacrifice that we've all made to make the nation great. Your sense of how our brothers and sisters in service to the nation might be feeling at this hour?
Well, I can't personally speak for those serving. I don't want to speak on their behalf, but I would say that from my perspective, if as long as those people of color, not just African American, are continuing to be treated with dignity and respect, then I think we don't have we have some concerns, but I have some concerns, but I have a positive outlook for the future. And I can say, just from my perspective and witnessing what's going on, from specifically what you mentioned about items being taken out of prominent places, about prominent African Americans. The good thing about it is that history is history, and history cannot be changed. And we know that there were and are accomplishments that have been made by African Americans, and whether it's taken out of the cemetery, it's very well documented. I think that our youth still have access to those things, and we have Google and other platforms that can still let us know the contributions of those that are African American and those members, people of color. I can't answer why things have been taken down. I mean, I've questioned it as well, but for some reason, this whole conversation around DEI has evolved, and I believe that for me, regardless of whether DEI policies have changed or not, I feel like if you are performing at your best, there should be no issue with you advancing in the military. And as long as you prove yourself and continue to prove yourself, you'll still have the same opportunities you had prior to this administration.
Towards that end, when I placed my hand on the Bible and swore to uphold the Constitution, I actually believed that I would protect with my vote, because I'm obviously a civilian, the American people from domestic enemies. I'm sorry, foreign enemies, foreign and domestic. That too was part of my oath.
Mm-hmm.
At no point in time in my calculation did I ever consider that people who might disagree with me in the United States, that they were my enemies, or that these constitute domestic enemies. I raised that because when we first heard, Colonel, about the possibility of the National Guard being deployed to American cities, I shared on this radio program and in other news conferences that, hey, don't forget, everybody, these are our neighbors, right? These are men and women who are being called into service, who live right next door to us. They know us. They know our communities. Don't overreact, because you don't live with the consequences of what some of us completely disagree with, the orders that somehow neighbor versus neighbor, federal authority versus civilians is something that we've ever experienced in our lives. So I'm thinking in this moment that that if I'm deployed, that I have to be feeling some kind of way about, I know we have to follow orders, but some kind of way about, I'm being asked to look my neighbors in the face, not, the Viet Cong, not ISIS, not Osama bin Laden, but my neighbor. Your thoughts, Colonel? I'm handling this
Well,
I can.
Living in Washington, D.C., I've had a firsthand opportunity to see the soldiers that have been patrolling. As a matter of fact, last night I saw 4 young military soldiers, male and female, walking right in front of my house. And, again, like you said, when we're called to duty, we march on and drive on and conduct the mission. From my perspective, I can tell you, living in Washington, D.C., having that show of force without any lethal activity going on has really kind of calmed our community down. I live by the baseball stadium and over by the Navy Yard. And I would say that their presence has caused a calm in our neighborhood. And I appreciate it, and I appreciate their sacrifices. I hope that they're not there forever, because we're getting ready to get in the holidays, and I hope that they can get back home to their families. But I would say that they're not in a combative type situation. They're there to assist, the police department, the Washington, D.C. Metropolitan Police, not to do their role, but to help, to monitor the streets. And that's what they've been doing.
Okay. I'm grateful to hear that perspective. If that's the way that people of the District of Columbia are feeling. I'm thinking also that that the early deployments of the National Guard have generated a similar sentiment. It's a very different sentiment here in the city of Chicago, as you can imagine. And I think that's in large measure because, some of these men that have been deployed here are not our neighbors. Governor Abbott sent 400 people to Chicago. Well, who are these people? I mean, you don't know us, and you're walking around here whooping tail and giving our brothers and sisters in the armed services a pretty bad reputation because it looks like everybody's wearing the same uniform, when the reality is it is the Texans and the Floridians and the Alabamans and even the governor, I believe, of Miss Huckabee's state, Arkansas, is now offering to send her troops to Chicago. We don't need your help. We can handle problems with our locals. I'm Jesse Jackson Jr., listening to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580. It's Veterans Day, and our very special guest is a woman of honor, Colonel Dixon. More when we come forward on the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show.
While you're stuck in traffic, we can at least bring you up to speed on the news of the day. You're listening to Jesse Jackson Jr. only on KBLA Talk 1580. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. LA County's new Justice Care and Opportunities Department, or JCOD, is here to support justice-involved individuals and their families. The JCOD Support Center is now taking calls at 1-833-LAC-JCOD. That's 1-833-522-5263. Available 7 days a week from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m., the Support Center is your one-stop shop for re-entry issues and court support. They offer court reminders, careers, connections to local services, transportation assistance for housing, court appearances, and childcare. The JCOD hotline provides personalized help to connect you with services that you need. And don't forget to check out justiceconnect.org for more information. Remember, it's free and available every day at 1-833-522-5263. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Lena Bloom for the Bail Project.
Imagine you're stuck in a jail cell and you can't afford bail and someone offers you a way out. Just plead guilty and you can go home and kiss your kids goodnight. What do you do? What thousands have. You plead guilty whether you are or not. Cash bail makes poverty a crime. That's why the Bail Project helps those who can't afford it while fighting to end cash bail. Because freedom should be free.
Brought to you by the Ad Council.
It's never too early to start talking about money in realistic ways with your kids. JP Morgan Chase navigates how to educate your kids now about creating long-lasting, healthy money habits. Whether your kids are in elementary school, high school, or college, now is a great time to start a conversation about ways to create healthy money habits as they grow, ultimately benefiting their financial future. Talking about money in a realistic way to support your kids' lifestyle and dreams, your first banking account geared towards high school or college. It's never too early. Explaining the basics, what you earn and what you spend, building financial confidence starts with getting organized. Learning and practicing vital money skills now will stay with them for life. Tools they will have to stay on top of their finances and achieve their goals. This segment is sponsored by JP Morgan Chase.
Now back to more of Jesse Jackson Jr. on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. Welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. Happy Veterans Day, everyone. And thank God for the service of our men and women in uniform who have offered the ultimate sacrifice, their very lives, for the protection of the freedoms that we enjoy. And we briefly touched upon the extraordinary contribution of men and women, African American, who offered and sacrificed for this nation before the nation sacrificed for it, or even made its own Bill of Rights before it even granted them civil rights. Our men and women were fighting for dignity and fighting to make the country far more democratic than it was on September 17th, 1787. We'll come back to that in just a moment, but I want to issue another call to Pedro Pizarro. Pedro, the president and CEO of Southern California Edison. We are trying to have a conversation with you on KBLA, and I did issue a call yesterday for his cell number. I'm trying to find Pedro Pizarro's cell number. Someone can find it for me. I'm going to chase him down. 626-302-2255. 626-302-2255. That is Pedro's office number. Call Pedro and have him call us at KBLA Talk 1580. We just want to talk with him, invite him on our program again, because he confirmed the first time but has decided not to come. We expect him to meet our president and visionary Tavis Smiley. I'm Jesse Jackson Jr., listening to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on Veterans Day. I'd like to ask our very special guest, Colonel Dixon, how did you get in the Hall of Fame of the Army?
Yeah, well, and you see it was on our birthday that I was inducted in 2020. So the U.S. Army Women's Foundation has a selection process where they want to honor U.S. women for their extraordinary service, dedication, and impact. I was nominated in 2019. I was awarded in 2020. Women who have served in the Army or the armed forces who have made extraordinary contributions can be nominated for that, for this I guess, once in a lifetime honor. We even honored Brigadier General Harriet Tubman posthumously recently, and she's been honored as a Army Women's Foundation Hall of Famer. So I'm in good company to be with her.
You're in amazing company. And let me share with you all, because that is something that our listeners may not appreciate. Harriet Tubman was given the rank of Brigadier General.
Indeed.
For her role in freedom, emancipation, organizing, and fighting for the country. There's no other way to see her service as fighting for the future of the United States. And because of her command of troops, I believe after she had made a number of trips on the Underground Railroad, if my memory serves me correctly, she actually served on a ship.
Yes.
Commanding troops, and therein lies her promotion as a brigadier general. Congratulations, yes. Colonel Dixon.
Thank you so much.
And that's extraordinary. Colonel, let me ask another follow-up question about, and I guess because you're not active, you might be in a better position to help me understand the psychology here. How do you think, and this is subjective, how do you think our men and women feel about being deployed in American cities? Is that something when they signed up they could have ever possibly imagined? Colonel Dixon?
Oh, that's for me. Okay, I saw Tony on there as well. So, well, you know what? I don't think that, historically, a governor calls up their troops for action. And this has been something that has not been a ordinary task by the President of the United States. But I guess he has authority to do that, and he executed those orders, and the leadership of those National Guard commands sent their troops as ordered. I believe, well, I'll tell you, it's probably twofold, because I looked at it from two perspectives. There's a lot of citizens out here that don't have employment. And some of these kids have served in the National Guard. And when they get called up, they're getting paid a regular paycheck, and they get benefits. So that's the positive side to it. But the unexpected, we never know when we're going to be called to duty. And so the unexpected call to duty, especially to serve in the United States, in states that are not your own, is probably was a challenging thing for them. And I think with any deployment, there's a bit of hesitation and fear. But if you have the right leadership team to ensure that those young soldiers are taken care of, and that they're housed and they're fed, and they get to, take advantage of their benefits, I think that they will understand it a little better and appreciate it.
Thank you, Colonel Dixon. We're joined now by Colonel Anthony Reyes. Colonel Reyes is going to be our very special guest on this coming Friday, and we just wanted to allow him to come on and give a little bit of promo of the show that we're going to do on Friday with Colonel Reyes. Colonel Reyes, happy Veterans Day, and you too, sir. Thank you for your service.
Hey, thank you very much, Jesse. I'm happy to be here. Honored.
Can you share with us a little bit about your show with Gina and I on Friday?
Absolutely. I during my career, 28 years, I didn't catch up to Anita, my good friend Anita. I got 28 and a half years. I just probably going to just go over a little bit of what I've done throughout my career. Some of the high points, of course, commanding 2 installations, and working the Congressional Liaison Office up on Capitol Hill, working in the Pentagon. Of course, the combat assignments. Probably spend some time definitely talking about my time as the diversity officer for the Army, as that is such a hot topic nowadays as we talk about DEI. So I look forward to jumping into that part of the discussion, because I think it's misunderstood by many, and I think what we tend to do is turn positive words into negative words when they don't meet our narrative. So I look forward to talking about that extensively on Friday, because diversity is supposed to be a very positive thing for all organizations, not a bad word and not something negative.
Our very special guest on Friday on Fat Meat Fridays and Reflectivity with Gina Towns will be Colonel Tony Reyes, also a distinguished member of our armed services, a man of honor that we are grateful that he is spending part of this week, this very important week on Veterans Day, on the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. Colonel Reyes, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, Jesse.
Colonel Dixon, we usually close out the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show with a word of hope for our nation, for all people. We have about 3 minutes to the top of the hour. I'm going to allow Colonel Dixon to close us out today in large measure because Colonel Reyes will get an opportunity to close us out on Friday.
Looking forward to it.
Colonel Dixon, a word of hope.
I would just say that, as we sit here today and acknowledge the sacrifices and service of our veterans, know that they have support, whether they're still serving, whether they've retired. And I think our country continues to wrap our arms around our service members. And I believe that we will continue to take care of them. We'll continue to support them. And I personally am very proud of the young men and women that are serving today. It is tough to, be taken away from your home and deploy. I've deployed 3 times, so I understand the sacrifice you have to make. But that's the sacrifice we make when we raise our right hand. So I would say for all the service members that are out there that are listening today, continue to work hard, stay positive, God bless you, and continue to work hard for your Army or your particular service. Thank you.
Colonel Dixon and Colonel Reyes, thank you both very much for your service to our nation. Colonel Reyes, look forward to talking with you on Friday.
Absolutely, Jesse. Looking forward to it.
Thank you for joining us on our show. I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. You've been listening to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. We have about another 45 seconds, but I do want to opine for just a moment on this hour. To love a nation that throughout its history has vacillated back and forth on whether or not it loves us. One of those patriotic songs talks about our love of country, and for our country we loved. We put up the shot, we put up our blood, we put up our sweat, we put up our tears. We are men, we are women, we are Americans too. We've earned the right to help shape the destiny of this nation, and we expect this nation to do right by us and our progeny. And so our prayers are with our men and women who've sacrificed, of all races, of all colors, at all times. Those men and women who have stood on that wall, guaranteed the freedoms that we've enjoyed. I'm Jesse Jackson Jr., listening to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. More on Tenacious Tuesdays with Barbara Arnwine. She's on the grind when we come forward.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. Chicago aldermen are urging Black Mayor Brandon Johnson to dig deeper into a consultant report to help fix the city's billion-dollar deficit.
We've already demonstrated that we're willing to implement the very ideas that came from this report.
Johnson defended his plan to tax big corporations, saying they too should pay their fair share. Los Angeles' Black Mayor Karen Bass says the city's House Our Vets initiative has placed over 360 veterans in permanent housing with a 99% retention rate. She adds homelessness in LA is down 17% since she took office, marking the first back-to-back yearly decline. And former President Barack Obama made a surprise Veterans Day appearance, greeting service members arriving in D.C. through the Honor Flight Network. He thanked them for their service and handed out presidential challenge coins to veterans from World War II, Korea, and Vietnam. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Hard rock style is coming to the Central Valley, just 15 miles south of Bakersfield off Route 99. You'll find world-class gaming and entertainment. Less drive time equals more playtime. The all-new Hard Rock Casino Tejon, opening November 13th.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Dallas Mavericks owner Patrick Dumont needs to be put on blast. Tuesday morning, Dumont fired Mass General Manager Nico Harrison, one of 12 black GMs in the NBA. Dumont fired Harrison because the trade Harrison made last season with the Lakers, Anthony Davis for Luka Doncic, has been a disaster for the Mavericks. The Mavs are 3-8 and Davis is hurt again. Meanwhile, the Lakers are 8-3 and Luka is balling, averaging 37.1 points. Yes, Harrison did reach out to Lakers GM Rob Pelinka to discuss the trade, but Dumont signed off on the deal before it was finalized. No trades in any sport are made without ownership approval. The real crime committed by Dumont is that he let Harrison take all the abuse and death threats from angry Mavs fans upset about losing Luka. Dumont never talked to the media to let the fans know that it was his decision to trade Luka. Harrison now knows what kind of person he was working for. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
All I need is one mic.
With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. Dateline Friday, November 7, 2025. Dear Mr. Pizarro, I hope that this letter finds you well. As you know, last evening, KBLA Talk 1580 hosted an Altadena Town Hall entitled Understanding the Wildfire Recovery Compensation Fund. The venue was at capacity, and as KBLA has maintained all along, no plaintiff's counsel was involved in any aspect of the program, such that Southern California Edison could well have participated per its initial commitment in writing on October 7, 2025. That said, in both private communications and public pronouncements, we note that SCE has offered to appear on KBLA Talk 1580 to address the Altadena community regarding its fast pay program, which was discussed in depth at last night's gathering. We would like to accept SCE's offer and invite you, Mr. Pizarro, to appear on KBLA's nationally syndicated radio program, Tavis Smiley. The show broadcasts weekdays from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and we are happy for you to choose any day, any hour for a live in-studio conversation. Please let us know which day and time work best for you. We look forward to welcoming you to our studios in Leimert Park. Sincerely, Tavis Smiley, founder, Smiley Audio Media, Inc., Chief Visionary Officer, KBLA Talk 1580, host, Tavis Smiley. With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. As always, we welcome your feedback.
Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580. It's Tenacious Tuesday, and on Tenacious Tuesdays, we have none other than our most tenacious host, Attorney Barbara Arnwine. Barbara Arnwine is the president of the Transformative Justice Coalition. She has been in front of the Supreme Court. She has been crisscrossing the nation, including getting out voters in New Jersey and throughout the country, helping deliver for us and our nation the kind of election results that we saw last week. So grateful for Barbara and her energy, which is unparalleled and unmatched. And I know she has a lot to share with us. So without further ado, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Grind with Barbara Arnwine.
Well, good afternoon, good evening, good afternoon. We're so happy to be on the show today. I am out of New Jersey after 2 almost solid weeks of organizing and getting out the vote. And all I can say at the top of this show is thank you, voters. Thank you all over the country. Mississippi, come on now. Y'all did that thing. Georgia, folks don't even understand what you did in Georgia. You turned it around. Come on now. Let's talk about where people were out there doing it. And mighty, mighty Los Angeles. Thank you. I saw you out there for Prop 50. Saw you standing in line 2 hours after the polls had closed. Come on now. Folks, you did this. You did it in Pennsylvania on those judges' retentions. You did it in New Jersey. You did it in Virginia. You did it in North Carolina. You did it all over the country. People have no understanding of the sweep and the criticality. Come on, New York. Hey, in New York, do you know that more Black men? Come on, New York. See, I'm just cracking you up, but I really am serious. In New York, more Black men voted for Mandami than Black women. They outvoted Black women by 5 percentage points.
Wow.
Come on now. We saw a new alignment happening. People aren't just mad, folks. Don't get it wrong. In order to vote right on that Pennsylvania amendment, you had to study it. You had to know precisely what you were doing. In order to turn out for Prop 50, there were no, quote, wasn't about candidates. It was about a ballot initiative. You had to understand why that was important. What do they say? Don't poke the bear. All right now, come on, California. Don't poke that bear because we're not playing. So I'm just so proud of voters because they were sophisticated. They took time to understand the issues. They showed up for non-traditional elections, like for the Utilities Commission in Georgia. Come on, folks need to give voters more credit. Probably after 2024, people said we didn't think enough. We didn't take our votes seriously enough. Well, people showed up on last Tuesday and they showed us what they can do when they want to do.
Barbara, hold on a second. Now, I know that we have a very special guest that we're going to announce after the break, if you don't mind, because we have about 2 minutes before the break, and I want to take this opportunity to pass the hat after that amazing sermon that you just delivered to us from coast to coast, because my dad taught me as a minister, you have to strike the iron when the iron's hot. Now, you can't pay for the kind of cross-national analysis. You're not going to get that anywhere else than right here at KBLA Talk 1580 and on the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. Barbara, how can we support your work?
Listen, go to tjcoalition.org. Donate, because we want to roll that John Lewis bus, which we rolled through New Jersey. We want to roll that bus through some more states. There's still Tennessee 7 happening on December 2nd. Oh, yes, all our listeners in Tennessee, get ready. You got to vote. Early voting is going on right this minute. Keep on voting. Keep on doing it. And so help us to be able to get those mighty freedom riders. We had these young, amazing Gen Z, freedom riders who rode with us. And you can't take any kind of action without paying for it. And I'm so grateful to everybody who contributed to the cause. And we're asking more people to join. Come on, you can do it. We're not begging for thousands of your dollars. We're begging for whatever you can give. So please make a contribution. TJ Coalition.org, coalition, COALITION.org.
But we will take $1,000 if you have.
Oh yes, absolutely. If you got it, to give. But a lot of times people say I can't give because I only have $10, I only have $5.
Amen.
They don't understand everything adds up, and so give what you can, give according to your means, and be sure to get out there and VOT.
We have a very special guest coming forward. I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. You're listening to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580. It's Tenacious Tuesdays with Barbara Arnwine. More when we come forward.
It's afternoon drive time with Jesse Jackson Jr. Only on KBLA Talk 1580.
This holiday season, Target has your back with irresistibly cool gifts for everyone on your list. For the trendsetter, start with affordable beauty kits and gift sets. Need something the whole fam will love? Grab snuggly matching fits in every size and style. And for the thrill seekers, don't forget the hottest toys and tech of the season. Target's got you covered with the best deals for endless fun. Shop in store or online. and step into the holidays with Target. Restrictions apply.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-478-6430 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-478-6430. That's 800-478-6430. What do you have to lose? Call 800-478-6430. Again, 800-478-6430.
At Charmin, we heard you shouldn't talk about going to the bathroom in public, so we decided to sing about it.
Light a candle, pour some wine. Grab a roll, the soft kind for a little me time. Charmin Ultra Soft Smooth Tear. Wavy edges for my rear. So let the softness caress your soul. Just relax, you're on a roll. Let her rip. Charmin Ultra Soft Smooth Tear.
Charmin Ultra Soft Smooth Tear has the same softness you love, now with wavy edges that tear better than the leading one-ply brand. Enjoy the go with Charmin.
Hey, KBLA 1580 delegation, your health matters to us. We know that information is power, especially when it comes to prevention and treatment. That's why we're proud to introduce the brand new KBLA Health and Wellness Hub. This online space is built just for you, connecting our community to trusted health resources, culturally relevant care, and even access to diverse clinical trials and emerging therapies. Whether you're looking for information on common conditions, mental health support, or just want to stay on top of your wellness journey, we got you. And the best part, it's all on our website at KBLA1580.com. Accessible, empowering, community-focused. So just go to KBLA1580.com and click on the Health and Wellness Hub icon, because knowledge is power and your health is everything. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
Now back to more of Jesse Jackson Jr. on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. It's Veterans Day. It's also Tenacious Tuesdays on the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show here on KBLA Talk 1580, where our very special guest host is none other than Barbara Arnwine, president and founder of the Transformative Justice Coalition, a lawyer, a thinker, an activist, and she has been crisscrossing the country to make the election victories that we saw just this past week possible, and we have missed her because we have been talking with her remotely, and it's been somewhat difficult, but I'm so glad she's back on the grind with us. Barbara, welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show.
It is so good to be back. It's
Barbara,
so good.
I mean, you picked up my spirits here. Barbara, you have a very special guest that you'd like to introduce.
Yes. You know, everybody, I am so honored to bring on Dr. Richard Larry Dotson. Dr. Richard Larry Dotson is an ophthalmologist in Washington, D.C. He is a medical doctor who diagnoses and treats severe and complex eye and vision problems from cataracts and glaucoma to detached retinas. Dr. Dotson received undergraduate and his medical degrees from the University of Maryland at College Park and the University of Maryland School of Medicine. He has been self-employed at the Metropolitan Eye Care Center Associates in Maryland, practicing ophthalmology for more than 45 years. A business that he began himself. Hey, he's an entrepreneur on top of everything else. He is currently semi-retired from his practice following Dr. Dotson's successful triumph over pancreatic cancer.
Oh, amen.
Dr. Dodson became an author, writing about his cancer journey in his amazing book, Unbroken.
Oh.
You heard me, people. Unbroken.
Amen.
A survivor's guide to beating cancer. His first book ever. And everyone, you know that November is National Pancreatic Cancer Awareness Month. We are so blessed to have Dr. Dobson with us today. Welcome, Dr. Dobson.
Well, God bless you and thank you. What an introduction. what an introduction. I appreciate that. But everything you said was the truth.
That's
so let me say it's a pleasure being with you all. And yes, this is Pancreatic Cancer Awareness Month. And Lord knows I never expected to be on this end of talking about it, but you know, God has a plan for us all, and this was a part of his plan for me. And I'm grateful to be a spokesperson on behalf of all of those who are suffering with cancer of any form, be it pancreatic, lung, prostate. There's so many types of cancers that affect the African American community in particular. But pancreatic cancer is one of those that can be pretty devastating and less than 10% survival rate. So I am grateful to say that I am more than a year cancer-free, and after having undergone many months of chemotherapy and surgery to remove the tumor and surrounding tissues that were touching the tumor. It's been a journey, but it's been a journey of faith, of love for family, love from friends, love from God. Most importantly, the love of God that has saw me through. And I am here to give this testimony that there's nothing too hard for God. Turn it over to him. Let him work it out in his time. In his time.
Dr.
So
Dodson,
I'm sorry.
Before I turn you over to Attorney Arnwine, you did touch on the idea of disparities for people of color. Can you comment on that and share with us your insights from your book and your research as a result of that study?
Well, you know, the disparity in the African American community because of lack of healthcare accessibility is probably, you know, the biggest disparity, in addition to not affording healthcare. The healthcare is so expensive, and not only if you can afford it, oftentimes the coinsurance is so expensive that you don't have that. You have limited healthcare benefits. So in my practice, my practice is in a section of Washington that's underserved, and I see lots of people who come in with no insurance at all. But I'm there to serve. And if you don't have the money, come on in anyway, and let's see what we can do for you.
That's an important position, Barbara, going into the current crisis that we find ourselves. A doctor who's saying, even if a patient comes in, I'm willing to serve. Attorney Arnwine.
Well, you know, one thing that most people don't know about pancreatic cancer is that it's rarely detected early because its symptoms are so confusing to doctors, and people don't think, about what is the worst thing that they may be looking at. I think Dr. Dodson your really amazing story of how you had to go through so much to get the right diagnosis.
Yeah. So true. So true. When I first came down with symptoms, they were very subtle. They were subtle the entire time that I had symptoms, but it was clear to me after many diagnoses that were not accurate that I had to continue to pursue and persist until I was able to find the answer. I had multiple exams, I had multiple CAT scans, But it was only after the Lord directed me to ask my associate to order an MRI that they find this tumor at the head of my pancreas. It was, and again, oftentimes when pancreatic tumors are found, it's at the end stage, and usually stage 3, stage 4, and there are no chemotherapy treatments, there are no radiation treatments. It's just palliative, and they usually give you a number of, months or so before they feel that that's all that can be done. But go ahead.
But you were your own advocate because you went through months of people telling you what, that it was gluten.
Well, I was told initially that I had gastritis. Later, I told that I had GERD, gastrointestinal reflux disease. Then I was told that I had a gluten sensitivity. And this was 4 months into my initial evaluation. And it was only after the 5th month when I said to myself, the diagnosis is not accurate. I'm still not getting the relief. And further went on to have an MRI where the tumor was detected.
When I think about African Americans not having a primary care physician, just the idea that Dr. Dotson had to go through multiple diagnoses to arrive at another test to make a determination about what was actually going on. Each one of these false diagnoses could have led to the termination or severe illness of his life had he just decided to hang around with what the first diagnosis was.
And unfortunately, I think that's what happens in the majority of the cases. Most patients, they trust, they believe their doctor says it's this, they believe that it's that. They're not going to question it. And before they know it, then they go back and the doctor says, well, it looks like you have pancreatic cancer and it's pretty advanced. And oftentimes because it presents itself in such a silent way, that oftentimes the symptoms are ignored. I'm one who's always taken care of my body. I've eaten well, I've exercised, I've just been very health conscious. So when subtle changes appeared for me, I recognized that something was amiss.
And can you, why don't we talk about some of those early signs that people dismiss all the time? For you, it was one of the typical ones, physical fatigue, right?
I had fatigue that came, I would say midway. Initially it was just some abdominal cramping, but because the abdominal cramping persisted, it took a toll on my appetite. I didn't have much of an appetite. And over the weeks of not having a normal appetite, I began losing weight to the point where my family said, are you trying to lose weight? I said, no, I just don't have a big appetite. And so, so loss of weight, fatigue, jaundice. Oftentimes people will become, the eyes will become yellow, the skin will become yellow. Oftentimes this is in more of an advanced stage. The tumor has gotten bigger and has begun to affect the gallbladder and the ability for the gallbladder to release bile. So that can create that issue of jaundice.
And the other symptom that I was surprised to see is really dark brown urine is an indication. And a lot of people just think I took something weird. I've been eating weird and not understand the consequences.
Yeah, that's one of the presenting features, dark urination, and again, that has to do with the bile being released into the stomach that eventually gets bile backed up, that backs up into the bloodstream, and then it's eliminated in the urine.
When we were in New Jersey, Jesse Jackson Jr. and Reverend and Dr. Dotson, we went to a church, Union Baptist in Trenton, and they actually did a ceremony for all the people who had who died from cancer or who has survived cancer. And it was heart-wrenching to see how many people in this one congregation had passed from cancer. And I think that one thing we want everybody to listen to right now, when we talk about awareness, we're talking about prevention. We want everyone listening to make sure that you are on the outlook for these symptoms. Make sure that you're talking to your family and your friends to make sure they're healthy. But you said something earlier to us. You said something about nutrition and how important nutrition is to anyone's bodily health.
Yeah, absolutely. Having a clean diet, eating foods that are not highly processed, eating foods that are loaded with vitamins, vegetables, and fruits, and foods like that are healthy foods that help to sustain the body and keep the body healthy. So we need more of that. Unfortunately, in many communities of Black and brown people, we don't have access, or it's too expensive. And oftentimes choosing foods that are less expensive oftentimes are not healthy foods, healthy options.
Barbara, that's leading me to these premium increases. I'm going to come right back.
Yeah, I want to go there. I want to go right there, because you can't talk about cutting off SNAP for 42 million people when healthy eating is the key to your bodily existence and health. You can't talk about cutting off, raising all these premiums and making sure that 15 million Americans will lose their health care. You can't talk about all that. People, right now, write down this number. Take down this number and call it 202-224-3121. That's the Congressional switchboard. 202-224-3121. Don't sit back. If you're upset about this, quote, Senate compromise, this continuing resolution that doesn't address these issues, I want you to make sure that you're taking action today. 202-224-3121. You got power in your hands, power in your voice, power in your dialing. Make sure that your senator hears from your senators, hear from you today that you're not taking this. Make sure your congressional members, of which Jesse Jackson Jr. has been one, know that you're not sitting back, right, sir?
Absolutely. I am so grateful that Dr. Dotson's going to be with us for the next half an hour, and Barbara Arnwine. I mean, you're on KBLA, you're on the grind, you're on Jersey, you're on the bad bill that just the 8 Democrats rejected. Barbara Arnwine is absolutely the truth. I'm so grateful that you brought a very special guest, Dr. Dotson, who has more to say on Pancreatic Cancer Month, Awareness Month, here on KBLA. I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. More when we come forward.
It's afternoon drive time with Jesse Jackson Jr. Only on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. The Senate has approved a bill to end the government shutdown, voting 60-40 Monday night to keep the government funded through January.
The bill as amended is passed.
The measure now heads to the House, which is not expected to consider it until at least Wednesday. Tributes are pouring in for Congresswoman Bonnie Watson Coleman, who announced she will not be seeking re-election. The first Black woman elected to Congress from New Jersey says it's time to pass the torch to a new progressive voice. Governor Phil Murphy praised the 80-year-old trailblazer for over 50 years of fearless service. And Sean Diddy Combs is denying reports that he was caught with homemade alcohol in prison. TMZ claimed he was busted with a mix made from Fanta, sugar, and apples, but his reps called the story false, saying he's focused on self-improvement and returning to his family. Diddy is serving a 4-year sentence on prostitution-related charges. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
hard rock style is coming to the Central Valley, just 15 miles south of Bakersfield off Route 99. You'll find world-class gaming and entertainment. Less drive time equals more playtime. The all-new Hard Rock Casino Tejon, opening November 13th.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Dallas Mavericks owner Patrick Dumont needs to be put on blast. Tuesday morning, Dumont fired Mavs general manager Nico Harrison, one of 12 black GMs in the NBA. Dumont fired Harrison because the trade Harrison made last season with the Lakers, Anthony Davis for Luka Doncic, has been a disaster for the Mavericks. The Mavs are 3-8 and Davis is hurt again. Meanwhile, the Lakers are 8-3 and Luka is balling, averaging 37.1 points. Yes, Harrison did reach out to Lakers GM Rob Pelinka to discuss the trade, but Dumont signed off on the deal before it was finalized. No trades in any sport are made without ownership approval. The real crime committed by Dumont is that he let Harrison take all the abuse and death threats from angry Mavs fans upset about losing Luka. Dumont never talked to the media to let the fans know that it was his decision to trade Luka. Harrison now knows what kind of person he was working for. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
At the tone, please record your message.
You ready? Drop it! Mr. Tavis Smiley, preach it. Thank you, man. Politics in this country is crazy. You put things in perspective that even I didn't. The right is playing fast and loose with facts and scapegoating everyone under the sun, especially black and brown people. As a white man, I do not agree with this, and I am on my black and brown brothers and sisters' side. Fight the good fight. You know that I am part of the resistance. Let's fight the power.
Our freedom of speech is freedom of death. We got to fight the powers that be.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
Whoa, whoa.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
I'm Reverend Gerald, the life coach. Is someone you love struggling with addiction and mental illness? Is improving your family's health important? Want to leave a legacy that your family can grow? Are you ready to enhance your perception of life experiences? Then wake up weekends at 7 a.m. with Urban Family Focus and get the wisdom, opportunity, resources, and motivation to live your best life. Join the conversation on Urban Family Focus Saturday and Sunday at 7 a.m.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Severe from Vicks.
Sinex Severe nasal spray.
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Severe instantly relieves nasal congestion and works 6 times faster than nasal decongestant tablets. The 12 hours of relief allow you to get back to the moments that matter without congestion.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it! Try Sinex Severe from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks vapors in an easy-to-apply stick, and it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapo Stick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks vapors when you need more comfort for yourself. Use as directed.
KBLA Talk 1580, standing with you in perilous times. If you've been impacted by the federal government shutdown or the discontinuation of SNAP benefits, you can find a food bank near you that's offering free groceries by going to lafoodbank.org or call 211. Additionally, LA County offers free meals at certain parks There are meals and snacks for kids and seniors. Visit parks.lacounty.gov to find out which centers are offering which programs and to register in advance. And in addition to offering 2 free meals per day for all students, the LA Unified School District provides weekend meal kits for its students by request. Meal kits can be picked up on Fridays at grab-and-go locations. Please visit lausd.org/Cafe LA. That's lausd.org/CAFELA. We keep us safe. We keep us provided for. We keep us connected. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
You're listening to Jesse Jackson Jr. on KBLA Talk 1580.
Welcome to the show on KBLA Nation Tuesday. We're on the grind with attorney Barbara Arnwine, and she brought with her a very, very special guest. Dr. Dotson is a pancreatic cancer survivor and an ophthalmologist of incredible note, and his service in Washington, D.C. to the people of the District of Columbia, including men and women who do not have eye insurance or the necessary insurance to provide for their vision, is noteworthy. And we are certainly grateful on this Veterans Day that they are both on our show. Barbara, Dr. Dotson, welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show.
Glad to be here.
Very, very happy to be here. And thank you for the invitation.
Dr. Dotson and Attorney Arnwine, let me paint a perfect picture for you. 7 million people protested in the No Kings protest.
Yes.
Democrats developed the spine to shut the government down, even though they are minorities in both the House and the Senate.
Yes.
To hold the Democrats accountable to funding aspects of the Affordable Care Act so that 44 million Americans could have access to the benefits for at least another year. 8 Democrats decided they wanted to end the government shutdown at the very moment that Democrats had the leverage to possibly sustain the program. And then you bring right before us, to paint the perfect picture, Dr. Dotson, who needed the kind of care that included multiple examinations, multiple diagnoses to determine what was wrong with him. And this man's life has been saved and literally owes his life to the idea that healthcare was available in the first place. And now there is this rebellion within the Democratic Party towards the 8 Democrats who didn't hold out for Dr. Dotson kind of care for the rest of us. Now talk to me, Barbara. Walk with us here and bring this whole picture together for us, what we're looking at.
Well, I'm talking for myself. And, all right, I want this to be clear. I'm talking for Barbara Ruth Arnwine of Los Angeles originally. And I just want people to know that as far as I'm concerned, these Democrats who sold out, I know they think they were being wise, but they weren't, and came up with this horrible compromise, really ought to be ashamed of themselves because people fought so hard for them. Until the Democratic Party decides it's really and truly an opposition party, our democracy is in danger. You cannot allow what is happening in this country right now without having an opposition party. An opposition party isn't a, okay, buddy, we're going to, fight today. We're going to say some speeches and then we're going to go out and hang out at the country club. An opposition party says until this is right, nobody gets the rest. And an opposition party knows what it wants and what it must achieve. If you notice the number of the 8, a good number of them are retiring from Congress. From the Senate. So they don't feel obligated. They don't feel like they have to worry about being accountable in the next election. So that's what you're dealing with. You're dealing with that, but it's also this mindset. People don't understand and won't accept the real evil that this administration represents. I want everybody listening to know something really critical. You may not have heard of it, but the Dutch officials from the Netherlands, folks, issued a complaint against the United States because of the United States tearing down monuments to Black soldiers in their nation. In Limburg, where Black soldiers fought during World War II to liberate their people, to liberate this world from the Nazis. And people, they filed a complaint because the U.S. tore down those monuments because they don't want to tell true Black history. They're so racist. They're so white supremacist that even white Netherlands, white Dutch officials said this is wrong. This is absolutely horrendous. It needs to be corrected. This is the kind of thinking, the kind of obsession that this administration has. Instead of making sure people can be fed, they rather tear down monuments to Black achievement. I am just so through with these people who think they're just dealing with their, quote, colleagues. These people aren't your colleagues. They are murderers because every time they make sure that people can't have SNAP, that kids are going to go hungry, they're killing people. When they say that you can't have health care, did you hear what Bernie Sanders said the other day? 50,000 people, more than 50,000 people will unnecessarily die every year until we have the proper health care provision. So this is not just a difference of opinion. This is life or death. And I am absolutely angry about what happened because the people showed up. They did their job. They did their job last Tuesday. The people were magnificent. And we got to keep going, folks. Don't allow these people to discourage us. Come on, we got to keep on doing what we're doing and get the right people in office. Let's throw some folks out of office who don't belong there until we get a true opposition party, until we are able to take back the House. And when I say take back the House, I mean take it back for the people. Until we can do that and take back the Senate, until we do that, we got to be on call. And so I was speaking for myself. I know Dr. Dotson probably has some other closing words because he, will not be with us through the end of the show. But I'm sure he has something very different to say because, I'm the angry Black woman. Yeah, that's me. That's me. That's me.
Dr. Dotson, we have about a minute
That's
and
me.
15 seconds. Dr. Dotson, a minute and 15.
Well, I again, thank you for allowing me to be a part of this discussion. And to all of those who are going to be affected, I mean, that's all of us because we're all connected. We all are connected. Just stay faithful, stay prayerful, and continue to fight. We have to continue this fight. It has not ended. I'm just saddened by the fact that things seem to be turning backwards, but we have to continue to trust in the Lord and continue to be soldiers and continue to do the work that needs to be done. And for anyone who wants more information about my book, you can go to Amazon. The book is currently the #1 best read and new books that are available, listed as Unbroken by Dr. Richard Dotson, A Survivor's Guide to Beating Cancer. It's a good read. It'll help. And again, God bless you both. Thank you for having me on.
Dr.
You
Dotson,
are amazing. Thank you.
So blessed by your presence and look forward in the not too distant future of having you back on the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. More On the Grind with Barbara Arnwine on Tenacious Tuesdays with Jesse Jackson Jr. when we come forward. And of course, we're looking forward to her word of hope on KBLA Talk 1580.
Amen.
While you're stuck in traffic, we can at least bring you up to speed on the news of the day. You're listening to Jesse Jackson Jr. only on KBLA Talk 1580.
Established in 2020 during a time of deep racial unrest across our state and country, the Black Freedom Fund was created to make sure that leaders and organizations working to support Black communities and build power have the resources they need to stay in the fight for the long haul. We believe that those closest to the issues impacting our communities know best how to solve them. That's why in just the last 5 years, we've granted more than $45 million to over 200 grassroots organizations across California. That is the largest collective investment in Black organizing in history, and we're just getting started. We are clear-eyed and committed, more now than ever, to our people, our power, and our possibility. Join us in creating a future where Black people harness their full power to shape their lives and realize a just world for all. Learn more at fundblackfreedom.org. That's fundblackfreedom.org. The Black Freedom Fund is proud to sponsor Conversation Live Altadena Rising with James Farr on KBLA Talk 1580.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the Relief Hotline at 800-515-4493, 800-515-4493, 800-515-4493.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. If you need help getting your resume in order, finding job training, or landing a job, we've got 3 great options for you. First, the City of Los Angeles has WorkSource centers across the area offering free job support. The California Workforce Development Board can help you with everything from GED prep to vocational training at no cost to you. On the federal level, the Department of Labor's American Job Centers offer a full range of services for job seekers and businesses alike. Visit careeronestop.org, or for more info, just call California's Help Center or visit cwdb.ca.gov or call 916-657-1440. For the City of Los Angeles programs, go to ewd.lacity.gov or call 213-744-7300. All these services are free to help you get your next job. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Nearly 7 million Americans aged 65 and older are living with Alzheimer's disease, or AD. But did you know that Black adults aged 65 and older are twice as likely as white adults to develop AD? You may be able to reduce your risk by managing conditions like diabetes and high blood pressure, being physically active, eating healthy, and exercising your mind. To learn more about AD, the importance of early diagnosis and intervention, and a potential treatment option, visit treatalzearly.com. That's treatalzearly.com. This message is brought to you by AZI.
Now back to more of Jesse Jackson Jr. on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. Welcome to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA 1580. This is Tenacious Tuesdays and On the Grind with Barbara Arnwine. Barbara is the president of the Transformative Justice Coalition. Barbara, welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show.
So much an honor to be here. Thank you.
Barbara, give me the name of Dr. Dotson's book? It's Unbroken, correct?
Yes, it's Unbroken. It's the total name of the book is Unbroken: A Survivor's Guide to Beating Cancer. Unbroken: A Survivor's Guide to Beating Cancer. It's his first book ever.
And
I'm
it's
so
by
happy.
by Dr. Richard Dotson.
Richard L. Dotson. Richard Larry Dotson.
You heard it right here, ladies and gentlemen. It's doing very well on Amazon.com. Barbara, listen, there is so much that we have left on the table. And
yes.
I feel like knowing that we only have about 9 minutes before the top of the hour, I normally allow you the 3 minutes for your word of hope. But Barbara, why don't you wrap up the world of the last 2 weeks for us in as much time as you'd like? Anything that we're missing, need to know about, should be prepared for. I just want to give a shout out to Gavin Newsom, to Senators Padilla and Schiff in California for holding their ground and leading the resistance on Prop 50. That's the Profile and Courage Award for the entire state of California during these times. But Barbara, we have about 8 minutes. Wrap
yes. Well, a couple of things. Judge Mark Wolf, he was a Reagan, I believe, appointee. Resigned his position as a judge on the federal bench so that he can talk out and speak freely about the criminality of the actions of this administration. He wants people to know how this is a direct threat to the rule of law. He knew he couldn't say that sitting on the bench, so he resigned his position. You talk about profiles and courage? That's one. I want everybody to know the name Judge Mark Wolf, because I want to give him all the credit. If you follow me on LinkedIn, you will see that I've been talking about him. My LinkedIn is Barbara Ornwine, and you will find that I've been talking about his courage and how important that is. The other thing I want to point out, remember all these capitulating law firms? Guess what? Most people don't know that the DC Bar issued an ethics resolution opinion saying that a lot of this capitulating, meaning, whatever you want, Mr. Trump, I'm going to do for you. They pointed out that there's ethical problems with that and that these firms need to better serve their clients, and that they have an obligation to tell their clients precisely what their capitulation means, how it might affect their cases in the future, so that clients have the ability to know that they're being well represented. That's a beautiful one. The other thing I want people to know, and talk about hope. I am so happy. I just saw it flash across my screen while we were on the show that the state of Maryland is paying full SNAP benefits.
Amen.
Its people for this month from their state funds. So to Governor Westmore, to the state of Maryland, thank you. The people of Maryland, like the people of every single state in this union, deserve to be able to eat if they don't have the means to purchase food. So thank God that they are doing this to make sure that people can eat. But check this out. Without people voting, there is no Governor Westmore. Without people voting, there is no Maryland state legislature that would go along with this plan. Folks, we got to understand how much our power we got in these little hands, that we got in our presence to vote, how much power there is in that. So I'm glad that at least in Maryland, people are going to eat and have their SNAP. And that's probably true in other states that have done so. And I'm grateful to every state that has done this. The other thing I wanted to talk about is the Prop 50. Thanks again, California. You don't poke that bear. Come on, California. Come on. Thank you for everybody who got out there and voted on Prop 50. Please know today that your work got an added boost, because in the state of Utah, a judge just struck down the Utah GOP, and I'm talking about who did it, GOP map that tried to take away and make sure that there was no ability for people to elect candidates of their choice and only had GOP representatives. Well, he struck that down. And as a consequence, there will be a more diverse map and there will be a more diverse delegation from the state of Utah. Those are some amazing accomplishments that I'm so proud of because of your work in California, people. You drive the winds of change, and that's what we're seeing happening all over this country. No kings. I thought it was really just impressive. And I noticed very few people have talked about this, but did you notice something on election night? Did you notice that the governor of Virginia, the new elected governor of Virginia, Spansperger, the new elected governor of New Jersey, Sherrill, that Mandani in his acceptance speech, and Gavin Newsom in talking about Prop 50 all talked about no kings.
Yeah.
No kings, no thrones, no crown, no kings. You know, I've been talking about Humpty Dumpty, all the kings' men. They can't put this one back together again. I'm sorry, folks. It's over. Some people are saying that, Trump is in an early lame duck era, that it's already started. People, use your vote. People in Tennessee, you got an election. There's early voting right now happening throughout Congressional District 7. Be sure to vote. The final date of that general election, special election, will be December the 2nd. Do it. I know you're gonna laugh at me because I just wore my stuff out in New Jersey, but I'm thinking about heading over to Tennessee.
You ain't wrong for that.
And joining the people in Tennessee.
Barbara, I got to give you a couple of quick round robins, very quick, very quick, because of the amount of time we have. Number one, voter enthusiasm amongst millennials and Generation Z in the elections. A quick Barbara Arnwine quote on that.
There is no Mandani without the youth vote. It's just clear. There is no victory for Mikey Sherrill without the youth vote. Did you see who was in line in California? I saw a whole lot of young people. I just want people to understand Gen Z, you have more voting power, Gen Z and young millennials, you have more voting power than any other cohort.
Got to move on to the next one. Barbara.
Yes.
So Mark Wolf resigns to complain about Donald Trump. Now, who fills Mark Wolf's vacancy?
They'll have to appoint another judge.
Who is they?
That is the Senate. That's why it matters who you vote for in the Senate.
Who recommends them from the Senate?
You know who recommends them on one.
You're not going to say it, are you?
I'm not happy about none of it. Okay, but I'm going to tell you, a free Mark Wolf is worth more than 10 compliant judges.
Okay, so a free Mark Wolf is going to be replaced by a Donald Trump judge, and
then until we get a new Senate.
Our time is up. I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. I can never get enough of Barbara Arnwine. More with Barbara Arnwine next Monday. I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. on KBLA Talk 1580 on next Tuesday. More on KBLA Talk 1580. More when we come forward tomorrow.
Love Angelinos.